Good afternoon to all. Welcome to the class on nitrogen compounds. In the last class, we have started discussing about hydrogen. Hydrogen is a bidentate ligand which is used in the preparation of many coordination compounds. And at the same time, it is a very good reducing agent. It is highly used in the reduction of metal ions into metal nanoparticles, or it is also used in the reduction of organic compounds. Another important application of hydrogen is in the identification test carbohydrates. For example, we will take glucose as an example, and we will discuss how hydrogen is used as a reagent to identify the carbohydrate molecules. Sorry. In this test, we will use phenyl hydrogen. That means one hydrogen and nitrogen will be replaced with the phenyl group C6H5. It is called phenyl. So the nomenclature is phenyl hydrogen. Phenyl hydrogen. Now, how do we use this phenyl hydrogen to identify carbohydrates? For example, take glucose, whose molecular formula is C6H12O6. So this is glucose molecule. Generally, this carbonyl, this is called a aldehyde functional group. This is aldehyde functional group where it will be having a double bond. Carbon will be having a double bond with oxygen and a single bond with hydrogen, and the other side, the fourth bond, is with other carbon chain. Now, when we treat this phenyl hydrogen with a carbonyl carbon, then what happens? This oxygen and these two nitrogens are these two hydrogens are nitrogen, they will be removed as a water molecule, and there will be a bond formation between carbon and nitrogen. It is a double bond. So what we get is CH double bond N, NH, PH, CH2OH 4 times CH2OH. Now, in the solution, when we dissolve glucose in water, it will dissolve, right? It completely dissolves. But when it forms hydrogen, this molecule, this structure is called as a hydrogen. When nitrogen in a hydrogen is involved in double bond with the carbon, then it is called hydrogen functional group. So this is a phenyl hydrogen of glucose. Phenyl hydrogen of glucose. Phenyl hydrogen of glucose. So when this molecule forms, it is a precipitate. It is insoluble in water. It is insoluble in water. So when we treat carbohydrates with phenyl hydrogen, and if we are getting a precipitate, then we can say in the solution we have a carbohydrate. So this is how we can identify whether carbohydrate is there or not in a solution. So this is another best application of hydrogen molecules. We can use this reaction for the identification of carbohydrates, and similarly all carbonyls, particularly aldehydes and ketones. Aldehydes and ketones can also be identified using this reaction. Hydrogen is generally prepared by Rasching process, where we treat ammonia with sodium hypochlorite. When we treat ammonia with sodium hypochlorite, in the first step, it generates ammonia chloroamine. One of the hydrogen and ammonia is replaced with chlorine, chloroamine, and sodium hydroxide. This is a very fast step where it involves sodium hypochlorite, the hypochlorite ion OCl minus will pick up one hydrogen. So it becomes NH2 minus and HOCl. This is hypochlorous acid, where the Cl now NH2 minus now will attack on Cl, and OH will be leaving as OH minus. So we will generate NH2Cl and OH minus. This OH minus and Na plus will be coming as NaH. Then in the second step, another molecule of ammonia will react with chloroamine generated in the first step. Here it acts as a nucleophile. Ammonia acts as a nucleophile and it attacks on ammonium chloride, chloroamine, where chlorine acts as a leaving group. So it is a nucleophilic substitution, SN reaction. So it generates NH2 and NH2 after the loss of H plus. So one H plus from ammonia molecule and one Cl minus from chloroamine molecule will be released as HCl. So this can be neutralized by using an additional molecule of ammonia. So HCl generated in the reaction will react with the ammonia, excess of ammonia, and it generates ammonium chloride. So what is important is this first step and this second step. So in the first step, sodium hypochlorite reacts with ammonia and generates chloroamine. Chloroamine reacts with one more molecule of ammonia and generates hydrogen. Hydroxylamine is a colorless solid whose melting point is 33 degrees centigrade. So its melting point is almost close to the room temperature. So generally we observe liquid in the bottle. We never get a solid. Okay. So in order to get a solid compound, what we can do, we can add HCl gas so that hydroxylamine is having basic properties. So it forms a complex with HCl. So it generates a solid compound. So this is a solid compound like ammonium chloride. When we add ammonia and HCl, it forms ammonium chloride. Ammonium chloride is a solid compound which we can handle it very easily, right? These compounds are hazardous compounds. So handling gaseous or liquid hazardous compounds are little difficult. In order to make it easy, what we can do, if there is a possibility to make them in solid phase, then we will try to convert the liquid compounds into solid phase and we will use them. So hydroxylamine, when it is treated with HCl, it forms a solid compound. then it is easy for us to handle this poisonous compound. So this is a poisonous compound, and it is a strong reducing agent like hydrogen. Hydroxylamine is also a strong reducing agent, and it also have donor properties like hydrogen. It also acts as a ligand, so it can also generate variety of coordination compounds by donating a lone pair on the nitrogen, a lone pair of electrons on nitrogen, and this explodes on heating. So this solid compound, when it is heated, it will explode. So we need to be very, very careful. Now, when we compare the basicity of these three nitrogen compounds, hydrogen is having highest basic nature because of the presence of two nitrogen elements, then ammonia, and finally ammonium hydroxide. So when we look at the basicity, hydrogen is more basic in nature, then ammonia, and least basic is hydroxylamine. So this solid compound generally will be generated in this form. NH3, H plus will be attacking on ammonia, or in other words, this lone pair will be donated to H plus. So it generates NH3 plus ion, then Cl minus. This is hydroxyl ammonium ion, where Cl minus is a counter ion. What are the uses of hydroxylamine? I'll give one best application for hydroxylamine. Hydroxylamine is used in the industrial synthesis of nylon. What is nylon? Nylon is a strong polymer which is used for the fabrics and for the ropes, right? So nylon is a strong polymer compound. How do we prepare nylon? Using hydroxylamine. This compound, 6-membered ring, is called cyclohexane. If it is having a double bond oxygen, it is called cyclohexanone. It is a ketone, so the suffix will be -one, cyclohexane, ketone, cyclohexanone. When cyclohexanone is treated with hydroxylamine, as we know from the previous reaction, this oxygen and the two hydrogens on nitrogen, they will be removed as a water molecule, and we expect a double bond between carbon and nitrogen. So a new double bond will be generated between carbon and nitrogen. This is called oxime because it is generated from cyclohexanone oxime. It is called cyclohexanone oxime. What is oxime? C double bond NOH. This functional group C double bond NOH is called as oxime. This functional group is called as oxime. Next, when we treat this with volume, what is volume? Anybody know this? Volume means sulfur trioxide dissolved in sulfuric acid. It is very, very acidic, a very strong acid, even more acidic than sulfuric acid. So under such strong acidic conditions, what happens? It will undergo a Beckmann rearrangement reaction. Under such high acidic conditions, this will undergo a Beckmann rearrangement reaction. What is a Beckmann rearrangement reaction? When we treat oximes under acidic conditions, then ring expansion takes place and this nitrogen will be made as a part of ring. So previously it is a 6-membered ring. Now this nitrogen is also made as a part of ring. So it will be a 7-membered ring. Ring expansion will take place and one of the carbon will become carbonyl and this will be NH. This is called cyclic amide. Cyclic amides are called as this is having a general formula caprolactam. Capro means 6 carbons. Capro means 6 carbons. Because this ring is having 6 carbons, it is capro. Lactam. Lactam means cyclic amides. This cyclic amide is called as lactam. When caprolactam is made to polymerize, when it is polymerized, it generates nylon 6. Look at the carbon chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbons are there. So this generates NH, CH2 5 times. This is a CH2 unit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 such CH2 units. Then there is CO. Now what is polymerization? There will be n number of monomer units. Monomer means this is a monomer. There will be n number of monomer units which will undergo bond formation among them and generates a large molecule which is called as polymer. Now we cannot write the complete structure of a polymer. So to make it simple, what we will do, we will recognize one monomer and we will put square brackets. What does it mean? This is a repeating unit, and after this again there will be many such monomer units. That means after C double bond O, what will be there? This NH, CH2 5 times. For your clarification, I'll try to write one more monomer here, CO. Then again there will be one more NH, CH2 5 times CO. So it will go on. So this is what is called a polymer. Because there are 6 carbons in each monomer, this is named as nylon. What is nylon? Nylon is a polyamide polymer. What is nylon? Nylon is a amide polymer. What is amide? If there is a bond between nitrogen and carbon, where the carbon is a carbonyl carbon, then it is called amide bond. It is called amide bond. So polyamide containing polymer is called a nylon. Since it is having 6 carbons in each monomer, it is named as nylon 6. So the best application of hydroxylamine is in the industrial synthesis of nylon 6, where hydrogen is treated with cyclohexanone to generate an oxime of cyclohexanone. Then the cyclohexanone is converted to caprolactam through Beckmann rearrangement under strong acidic conditions, that is oleum. Then this generated caprolactam will be polymerized to generate the nylon 6.